Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another War Infinite Panels. It has been a while, but I'm joined by my lovely, I guess, no longer psychic. She's got promoted. She's doing the best she can, Sarah.
Whoa. It's been a rough week, y'all.
It's been a rough week. It's been a rough time. I mean, we've been away mostly due to health reasons and work. And let's put it this way: there are worse things to go through than the coronavirus in China. There is something called the common cold, the sore throat.
Coronavirus.
Oh yeah,
Corona.
which is Corona. Oh right, which doesn't come from the beer. It comes from I don't know what. Anyway, the point is, don't get sick, people, because it actually sucks.
I hope they know that already if you've been listening to this podcast, because we curse like sailors and hopefully you are older than 18.
Yeah, we did it. Woo.
Woo!
So, but during that time, we have seen a lot of movies and a lot of things has happened during that time. I, for one, have seen the amazing adventures of Scenic and Jim
And
Carrey.
I got to see Birds of Prey, and so we will talk about both of those movies real quick, especially because they ended up doing some really weird things at the box office. So why don't you start us off with Scenic?
Scenic is honestly a great movie. Jim Carrey, honestly, it's Jim Carrey's Jim Carrey. This movie is a movie I said many times over. It's a movie that it's not the most flashy movie. It's not the most complex. It's a very simplistic movie with easy storyline, but the execution is so well done, it makes it a good movie. And this movie and the execution done by the voice actor who is Sonic, the human actors, and Jim Carrey. Even the minor actors and the scenes and the sound effects are fantastic. This is something definitely a movie that I will recommend people to show that sometimes you don't need the flashiest budget or the flashiest special effects. You just need a good premise, respect to the lore of the property you're using, and just a solid actor, and everything will go smooth. And I recommend people watch Signing and stay for the ending of the movie because there's extra stuff in there. Woohoo!
All right, so then I saw Birds of Prey, which was fantabulous. It is such a fantastic movie. It's got such great costuming. It's got great fight choreography. The acting is solid on all the actors. Margot Robbie looks like she's just having a freaking blast. You know, it just really it's like the DCEU is basically proving that, like, yes, we can do this. I swear we know how to make movies. I got this.
I felt like they
So
had to like get rid of a lot of people for that to happen, though.
yeah, listen, and this is also, directed by a woman, Kathy Yan. Um, and it shows because, as any of you who have seen it know, the hair tie scene, like that just one quick thing. Oh man, it's life changing, but it's seriously wonderful. I do hope they do more with the property and with Harley Quinn because she is so much fun. They actually changed the title now to Harley Quinn: Birds of Prey. So that makes me think there will be more Harley Quinn movies, which would be dope. But seriously, even though it didn't do all that great at its own weekend box office, it only made 70 million. I definitely think it's worth a watch. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend that you go out and give it a shot.
Yeah, I think Sonic's box office opening weekend was like 57 million, so they're kind of halfway through their budget, and I think that's good for both movies. They're kind of hitting at least because they still have like a whole month before they can decide which is good or bad. But it might take some Bird of Prey. I'm glad people enjoy to watch it because I was worried for the movie because this is my worry. Harley Quinn is popular amongst a lot of people, and then younger people, but they move it to rated R. So I was worried that they would like lose a lot more than they are right now, and so I'm glad it's still doing well because I was like, oh my god, you moved a property that's like it's like moving Superman to a rated R movie. That's a pretty scary thing to do.
Yeah, but also at the same time, like, this is a villain franchise, and Deadpool has sort of proved that you can do R-rated
Oh
and
yeah,
expect to be okay. And honestly, like, having seen the movie, if they had made it PG-13, I don't think it would have had the impact that would have really
it
sort of
like
stuck the landing. Like, it's pretty gruesome, some of the stuff, and like,
okay, yeah, because sometimes I remember like back in like a couple of years ago or like even the '90s, some people would just get that rating just for get it for sake. Like they got an NC-17 or rated R just because they wanted it from a spicy movie. In reality, it has nothing to do with that rating.
yeah, I mean, no, like, they used it to good effect. Like, Roman Sionis it's sort of there's one scene in it, and I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
There's one scene that gets particularly intense, and nothing happens in the sense that like no one dies, but there's some pretty fucked up shit that's going on, and the tension you could literally cut it with a knife. It's so well done that like but like it needed the R rating to get there.
Okay, that's fair
And
enough.
so, I definitely think like it's very worthwhile. But yeah, so I think we can both readily say that we 100% recommend both of these movies. If you want to go out and see some quality cinema, you've got some options. Or if you want to go see Parasite, which won Best Picture, you can do that too. That's a
Yeah,
pretty dope movie.
that's true. And speaking of dope things that is happening, or not so dope things,
Oh
what about
boy.
that Mobius, the living vampire?
Oh god.
What
All
happened to
right.
him?
Ooh, okay. And we're gonna all take a deep breath together. Ooh, okay. Someone let Jared Leto be in another comic book movie.
Oh,
Uh,
oh
I know.
God.
What did I tell you about the deep breath, Matt? Deep
Okay,
breath.
all right. You sure? Because I could break case and get alcohol. That was the plan. Break
Nope,
case, need
nope.
alcohol.
It's nope. Save it for when the actual movie comes out. Deep breath.
Save everybody.
Yes. But so if you haven't heard, Jared Leto has been cast in Morbius, as Morbius. And listen, man, I don't like Jared Leto. He runs a cult. He is weird. He is a sexual predator. And listen, and just his Joker was bad. It was bad. So the
Okay,
fact that
okay.
we're
Hold,
like,
back up on that. Is that actually
what?
been confirmed? I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm defending it. Is it actually been confirmed? He's a sexual predator. Has that actually been confirmed?
Yeah, I mean, several women have come forward and
Oh,
talked
okay.
about
No,
how when he
because
was on tour.
the reason why I asked is because it was really weird when it popped up. It was a blip in the news, and then no one talked about it, and then it blipped again. Like I want to say last month. Like what's going on here?
Yeah, and again, he ran a cult, so that's
Oh
fun.
man.
Those people that are like, we're on the beach, and I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Putting all of that aside, I don't think Jared Leto is a good actor. I just truly, truly don't believe he's very good. People are like, well, he won an Oscar. I'm like, he didn't deserve an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, all right? He just didn't. They didn't know who to give it to that year, and they gave it to him, and they were wrong. So, I look at this and I cringe because it's basically like pure edgelord fodder. Um, Honestly, Matt, would you like to give us a little bit of background about who Morbius the Living Vampire is, since I'm not as well versed in
Oh,
that?
so Morbius the Living Vampire was one of Marvel's premier horror characters, I want to say, in the late 70s. What makes it cool, it has one of my favorite artists working on it, I believe, is Gene Colan. Gene Colan, rest in peace, great artist. He drew Daredevil. You should look up his art. If you're Sarah, you're a horror person. You need to look up how good
Yeah.
classic 70s horror art comics was. That to me was
Mm.
that's not the best, but it's I have a huge love of 70 art and pinups and all that stuff, particularly in comics, because those guys are so experimental. What's normal now, like these guys are great. But anyway, Morbius the Living Vampire is a horror character from the Marvel universe, and he used to be called Morbius the Vampire, but they had to change the name because copyrights, and apparently someone owned the Dracula name. It's weird. So
Wait, no, but oh, maybe they copyrighted a very specific, because like
yeah,
Dracula is in the public domain, so
yeah,
technically anybody can be Dracula. Who can
true.
stop you? Not a goddamn person.
Dude, oops, I was actually wrong. Gene Colan may have drawn some issues. It was actually Gil Kane who did it. Gil Kane who did
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah. So the premise of the character is that he's a vampire. He does horror stuff. He fought Spider-Man, and he's kind of interesting because I guess a lot of people may remember him from the '90s TV show where he's trying to run away from trying not to be. I'm a vampire, but my life sucks. I'm not trying to hurt people, but is get caught in weird extremities. In that same run, he also hung out with I believe Blade. This was on the TV show, which was probably a good representation, the most mainstream representation he was. But he does appear. He did appear a lot in Dead of the Night, Werewolf, and a one shot in Marvel Max, so that was kind of nice. But as a character, he's a pretty much a standard horror character for
Yeah.
yeah, not much to him. He's very interesting. I want to say the circumstances around him is very interesting. Marvel hasn't really done a lot of reprints for this character in a long time, or used them particularly in comics because some characters are just hard to write or to use. He's just one of them.
Yeah.
So,
That's totally fair.
Yeah, but he has a cool aesthetic. And played right, he could be like this sentimental vampire human thing that's trying to figure out what to do, being a vigilante, and try to live with his horrid condition that he thirsts for human blood, or he could be this horrific monster that just kills things at night. And the fact he's being played by Jared Leto hurts me on the inside because you really couldn't get Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to be a jerk. It's like Tom Hardy would have been a perfect for this role.
Yeah, but they put Tom Hardy in Venom, so he can't be Morbius, because this is the universe we're in, right? We're in the Spider-Man universe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you can't be Tom Hardy. That's what I was gonna say. I was just like, listen, Sony, I get that you really, really, really want to, do Spider-Man. But like, listen, y'all, please stop. You're making bad choices, and they're making me sad. Like, Venom was meh. Like, I know it's got its fans, but meh. And then this, I'm just like, okay, listen. Black Cat series. And I don't give a shit. Like, Sony, you made one good movie. You made Into the Spider-Verse, all right? And that's getting a sequel, which thank God. But y'all need to quit it with these live actions, because I don't think you know what you're doing. And anyway, it looks like if they get bought by Apple, it's going to default back to Marvel anyway. So, maybe instead of making crap movies, you could, I don't know, just focus on making Into the Spider-Verse 2 and cutting your losses. But whatever, that's just one person's opinion.
Yeah, the sad part is I can see you pitching that. Like, Sony, you're hurting my feelings right now. Please stop this.
Sony, you're acting a fool.
Acting a fool. But honestly, though, and the sad part is the more I think about it, there's tons of people who could play a horror role well. I mean, if you're willing to pay Ed Norton, I guess. But I'm disappointed as Jared Leto because Jared Leto, when I saw his Joker, disappointed me. And recently, while we were looking, I looked up that sex cult thing, and it's real. I'm like, oh god, I'm disgusted. I'm almost vomiting on this mic as we speak. Like, I can't believe people just letting this. Okay, we're just gonna pretend this guy. Oh, okay. Thanks, America.
I have been converting you to the side of Jared Leto is weird and a bad actor and should not be allowed to be in public.
I always thought he was sus. Okay, I never liked him, and I never liked him in the Suicide Squad. And thank God half of that stuff was cut out, because I couldn't stand at least 5 minutes of the edited crap. So that's the best way to describe it. If more scenes of a character that isn't good is not going to make you like me more. Giving me more bad food doesn't make me like it more. I don't understand why people keep thinking that. But anyway.
But anyway, speaking of Oscars.
Oscars.
Joker, the very, very cool movie that we talked about a couple episodes back, starring Joaquin Phoenix, has won a couple. It won for Best Soundtrack, which, if you haven't heard the music in Joker, like, that is some classic, really well written, like, the composed stuff is beautiful. But the big news is that Joaquin Phoenix won for his portrayal of Joker. So he is the second person in Oscar history to win for that character. Obviously, the first being Heath Ledger posthumously for The Dark Knight. And yeah, so haha, Jared Leto, you don't get an Oscar. I mean, he has an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club, but like, he didn't deserve that one.
Did he win it for supporting actor or a background role?
He won it for supporting actor. And if he had been nominated for Suicide Squad, he would have also been supporting actor again. But yes, so Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Leading leading actor, best basically main role, which, you know, he, I think, totally deserved, because that performance was just phenomenal.
Oh, it's something, honestly, regardless of your political beliefs or social standings, you watch this movie, he invokes every emotion out of you. Mm-hmm. And that is a mark of a great actor. And I'm looking forward to whatever movie he does in the future. I never heard of this dude until right now. And I feel like an adult, but it's like, wow, this guy's amazing. He can do whatever he wants.
Phoenix? Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you have not seen more Joaquin Phoenix things and would like to see more things with Joaquin Phoenix, I highly recommend you watch The Master, which he starred in with the late Seymour Hoffman. It is basically about Scientology. And it's great.
I'm praying I hope it's on Netflix. I kind of want to hope it's on Netflix.
It might be on Amazon. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but yes. So good job, Joaquin. And now, all the transitions as we move on to a movie I don't think either of us ever thought was going to see the light. New Mutants got a new trailer. Yeah. I know, New Mutants got a new trailer, and what looks like, everybody knock on wood right now. If you're in your car, knock on your dashboard. I know it's not wood, but just fucking do it. New Mutants is set to come out on April 3rd, 2020. It got a new trailer. Apparently it went through some more edits or reshoots or whatever the fuck they needed to do. But yes, it is coming. The first trailer came out, in case you're like, New Mutants, that sounds really familiar. Yeah. That's because the first trailer came out 3 years ago in October 2017. Feel old. Yep. So, what are you thinking about this, Matt? I'm excited.
What I think about this, and I'm being super serious, super serial. It's happening. We talked about it on this podcast. We keep making little jokes that's never happening, but here we are. It happened.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I think we were like, where does this never... Like, I was just like, I'm so disappointed it's never gonna happen. And then there's something like, surprise, bitch, here's a new trailer. And it looks so cool. I'm so excited. You know, like, especially for Magic, who is Anya Taylor-Thomas, the, like, Russian murder lady who just, like, falls out of a portal and's got, like scary blue eyes, and I don't know. I was like, this looks hella dope, son. It looks scary. It looks entertaining. It looks like someone's gonna, like, destroy all the things, and that's all I want in this life. So, yes, I am very, 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 very excited to see it. Hopefully, I will get to see it in April. I'm going to do my best. And, you know, I think it's such a cool idea, and also considering that X-Men is now moving to Marvel, I kind of thought that Disney would just, like, be like, fuck this project, or it could be that, Disney's like, you know what? We already have this. Why don't we just, I don't know, fucking put it out there? Like, let's just do the best cut of it we can and send it out there, and that'll be that.
I think will be interesting if this is going to be with the MCU, this universe, and since the New Mutants currently in comics as well as the trailer I've seen, a little more horror, more mystic stuff. Please have a crossover with Doctor Strange. I want to see Benedict Cumberbatch's surprise face when he sees the New Mutants.
You're like, oh my god, I want to see his surprise face.
Surprise face, yeah, like surprise, it's me. I'm like, oh no, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. But honestly, I'm excited to see, because it's been in production development hell. This has to be good. I'm praying it to be good, you know?
Yeah. I mean, God, I hope so. Or at least decent. You know what? I'll take decent. I'll give it...
I'll take decent, yeah.
If it's a C+ in quality, I'm happy. That's all I want.
3+ years for C+. It's better than... We've seen worse.
Oh yeah, we've definitely seen a lot worse. Now, moving on, of course, that's not the only comic adaptation that is coming out / has come out. Netflix decided to, like, give us a little slip-slap surprise and pushed out both the Lock and Key series adaptation and the October Faction, which I think Lock and Key was in development for a long time with a bunch of different studios, but as from what I remember, October Faction, like nobody had talked about it really. It had gotten optioned in 2018. Netflix had put in a production order, and then nobody knew what happened to it. So that is pretty interesting. Have you actually have you read either of these series, Matt?
I I remember you recommending
Lock and Key,
Lock and
yeah.
Key, and I have not yet purchased it because I have been in the sickness. But I'm aware of October Faction. It's printed by IDW. It's done by Steve Niles and Damian Worm. I've seen the first couple of issues of it when it was in store. Some of the covers are done by Bill Sienkiewicz, one of my favorites, you know, artists of all time. Please look him up. He's great. But it's very strange because it's a story about a lot of this reminds me of another comic, and I'm not saying everyone copies each other, blah blah blah. This reminds me of what was it, Black Hammer, with this dark universe with this family aesthetic where it's like it's about this retired family hunter which has someone who's into adventuring, a witch and a warlock, and their family dealing with dark thematic themes, and they go out and do crazy adventures. It
Yep.
kind of fits this void in the comic industry right now where there was no Fantastic Four or family type book in a long time. So we got a lot of books that deal with that, such as October Faction and the Terrifics and all these other books that are like very family oriented but dark. And the Fantastic Four is back out now too by Marvel. So if you have that fetish, go pick it up and read it. I recommend it. It looks good. To me, if you read Black Hammer, and it's not a knock on October Faction, you will notice some similarities, but there's enough differences because October Faction is more bounded in reality than Black Hammer, and that's I'll leave it as that. So I give no spoilers.
Okay, very cool. So I started watching the Lock and Key series. It's not as dark as the comics. Like the comics are like, ooh, that's a hard R-rated comic, and they made it a little bit more PG-13, which honestly for Joe Hill is probably the only way that you could like get like really make it like palatable. Like Joe Hill is not here to fuck around. Joe Hill is like Joe Hill's like, hi, your deepest, darkest secrets and insecurities, those are fun. Also, people are terrible. And you're just like, oh God, help me. So yes, it's an interesting adaptation. Thus I'm only like 4 episodes in, and there are 10. I like it. I think it's interesting. I think it's got some cool stuff to say. I have not watched October Faction yet. I want to. I just haven't had time because I'm watching The Expanse, which, you know, and Cheer, but that's not a comic thing. That's just deeply, deeply fucked up and sad. So I definitely recommend, if any of you guys have heard anything about it, you should hit us up, let us know what you think. We would love to hear from you. Should we watch October Faction? Should we not watch October Faction? Are you mad that Lock and Key isn't as dark and gritty as the comic it's based on? You know, let us know. And speaking of gritty comics and adaptations, it's looking like Watchmen for HBO is not getting a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the creator decided that he didn't want to do it anymore, which, listen, man, I get it. It's a hard gig to do these kinds of things. You know, nobody wants to spend like their entire life working on a show. But basically speaking, Damien Lindelof, I think that's how you say his name, who created the show, was like, you know what, I'm done. And HBO was like, if it's not him, we're not doing it. So while there probably could have been an option, because showrunners, as we know from like the American Gods adaptation on Starz, showrunners walk off all the goddamn time. Like, you know, people leave, you know, projects get sort of shuffled around. So the fact that HBO basically said we're not doing it without him is a little bit surprising, but you have to wonder if maybe just the ratings weren't there for season 1.
That could be too, but I feel like TV ratings for TV shows have been a lot more kinder lately to cancellations. I mean, this is not a pivot to promote another thing I do on the 450 Splash podcast about wrestling. Ratings aren't really as high as they used to be for a wrestling show, particularly AEW. and they
Mhm.
still got renewed for 4 extra years. So I don't think TV ratings is probably a scenario. I think it's probably the stress, as you pointed out, the stress of production of a show like this. And Watchmen as a show has a high caliber to live up to. It's one of the greatest comics of our generation, or
Yeah.
probably of all time.
Mhm.
To turn into a TV show must be stressful.
Yeah, especially because it's building off of Watchmen and is not a direct adaptation. Alan Moore has already expressed disdain for it because Alan Moore just expresses disdain for everyone and everything.
Believe it or not, Alan Moore expresses disdain for politics so much he convinces people to vote to get the prime minister. What was it? Boris, whatever his name, Boris Johnson,
Boris
out of
Johnson.
office. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be real here. If Boris Johnson were left out of office, that would just be a truly wonderful thing for everybody.
That's what I put it. A man who hates a lot of things. Look, guys, you got to get this guy out of my country, please. I can't hate anyone else more than I hate him right now.
Oh man, but
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say too. It's like I'm also kind of weirded out that, if you're gonna make a continuation of Watchmen, I'm surprised it didn't have like much more planning into it because, again, much like Game of Thrones or these really really deep shows, these are shows that are very consuming of how you present and everything. So I'm just surprised that more leeway into it, but because I never seen it, I wanted to watch it, but I'm hurt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and they never said that they wouldn't make another season if Damien came back.
Oh.
But, just for right now, there's not going to be, in the very immediate future, like next year and 2 years, there's not going to be a second season. Which, whatever. But, Matt, it's okay. You know why it's okay?
Why?
We know that Disney Plus, in this year of our Lord 2020, will be bringing us both Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. We got a sneak peek of both of those shows. Falcon and the Winter Soldier looks very much like a war action show, which, fine. Cool. Whatevs, G. And WandaVision looks trippy as fuck.
You know what? Some people believe that WandaVision is based off the smash critical appeal book, critical hit book, Tom King's Visions.
Oh yeah, the Visions. The what were the 2 volumes, like little better than a beast, little worse than a man, or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good. I think we've talked about that one before as a recommendation. Like, it's just, guys, it's so good. Like, go read it. And honestly, like, from what I can tell looking at it, I think it is kind of like that, but like from Wanda's, like, if Wanda was the one who lost her mind, you know what I mean?
Right, and the thing is true. It's a true story. If you read the, I want to say, the Quesada day of Marvel, when he was in charge, when he had Bendis writing Avengers, a lot of the storylines that Bendis wrote for Wanda, like House of M and happening, was literally told from her losing her mind, and you couldn't tell, did these things actually happen or not? Which, again, not to promote crazy, hysteria in writing is really good if you don't know the main character is crazy. That's such a cool writing technique.
It definitely adds something to it. So that one, yeah, to me it looks cool. Like, I don't know if you've seen the preview yet, Matt.
I've sold the preview. It's
where like they're just flashing through different kinds of sitcoms, basically.
Yes.
I was just like, whoa. And then there's that moment where, like, she gets, like, the slap back to reality, and it's her and Vision just standing in this, like, grayed out living room. And I'm like, oh.
I was like, wait. I was like, who is losing their mind here? What's going on?
Yeah. I super want to know. Like, I want to know if each episode of the season is going to be, like, them living through a different kind of era of sitcoms, or if, like, everything we saw was from the first episode, you know what I mean? Where, like, maybe the first episode is she rotates through a bunch of these, and then gets that sort of slap back to reality, and then the rest of the show is, like, gonna take it in a different direction.
It'd be really cool, your first idea, I agree with, is each episode's a random sitcom. It would be so cool to see them in, like, The Honeymooners, or it'd be great. It'd be like, and you
Leave
don't...
It to Beaver.
Yeah, it'd be great. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah,
I would love that because it'd be a beautiful homage if they go that far, and 2, it would show in a way how much their relationship is viewed from each other because it'd be great. Like I said, this from the preview alone, I'm super excited from this. Always the thing I love about Marvel, they'll take risk on. I always say this is Marvel, but in general, a lot of comic book companies are taking for TV shows taking risk on lower IP properties. So we're not seeing Superman and Batman and my Buff Man all day, you know?
Buff Man, he buff.
Buff Man, that's what I called him. Like it's Buff Man.
Buff Man. Yeah, and you know, Loki will be probably coming out in 2021. It looks like. I mean, whatever. I'm like the era of Loki has sort of died, which is fine. Like Loki was a good character, and he was like a surprising one, but frankly, I just don't think that the appeal is there anymore.
No, I think the hype died down. But Tom is a great actor. I still would like to have a scene of him just in a bathrobe reading Shakespeare for 20 minutes. Just saying.
Yeah, just out loud, just him in the bathtub with a glass of wine. Exactly. Oh, baby. Yes. I wish that we would be better strangers. I'm an adult woman.
Watch that become like the most downloaded show on episode on Disney Plus.
Just like, you know, like it was funny because Netflix one time put on Twitter, it was something like, for the 28 people who have watched A Christmas Prince every day for 31 days in a row, are you okay? It's gonna be like, to the 2,597 of you who have watched the same episode of Loki where he's in the bathtub, y'all alright?
Y'all right?
You doing good?
Like, is it okay? What's going on here?
Do we need to send you guys a care package?
It's not a care package. I want someone to reply. Have you seen the episode?
Have you seen it? Yes. So that's gonna be fun. I am super excited for that. And I think, you know, like this episode, we've covered a lot of news. We try to cover it fast, try to cover it thoroughly. You know, we want to keep you guys in the know. These, you know, this is definitely an era in which everyone's sort of either getting ready to go or sort of shutting down its projects. It's that weird after awards season lull.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what comes next in terms of upcoming movies. I know Wonder Woman 1984 is coming out.
I'm excited to see that. Personally, obviously, Gal Gadot is amazing. Best. She's queen. I want to know what's the soundtrack going to be.
Yeah, that one's going to be very interesting. It sounds like they're trying to do a little bit what Thor does. You know what I mean? Like with a little bit more of that like pop soundtrack, like the 80s. Like they're trying to really vibe that 80s.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm into it, but I'm not 100% on it. Black Widow. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I've always because I think I've been spoiled recently because a lot of good movies had great soundtracks, like Guardians 1, Guardians 2, soundtrack. I actually did like the soundtrack to Sonic and Joker. So it's like now I'm one of those guys. What's the soundtrack to this movie gonna be?
It's true. Good movie music really sells it. The New Mutants trailer had some really cool music, like a slowed down version of yeah, you know the song I'm talking about. So that's going to be interesting. And Wonder Woman 1984 sort of has that feel to it, that kind of soundtrack feel of like we're really going to hit those 80s motifs. Surprisingly enough, I am underwhelmed by all the trailers for Black Widow, who is finally getting her solo movie. They have put it in a prime slot in May, but like, I don't know. I'm like not super into it.
I think it's, as you mentioned earlier about Loki, the hype just kind of died for Black Widow.
Yeah.
And
it's like
that,
a little
in my
too
opinion,
late.
A little too late, yeah. And I think that all serious, this is like the final footnote of, I wouldn't say the first arc Marvel movies. Like this is like a footnote to the character dies in Infinity War, which you should come on. It's been 8 months.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
It's been a while. So basically, it's like it's a footnote to a character to an arc we already finished and kind of don't care about. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do. I also think that, and I agree, they should have did this earlier, whatever. But I don't know what the deal was. Maybe they were afraid, but Captain Marvel made like $1 billion, so
Yeah.
gotta have.
They're like, I guess we could do it. Um. So yeah, that's coming up. Morbius will come out this year. There's also currently an untitled Sony sequel that's going to be directed by, weirdly enough, Andy Serkis. We're pretty sure it's Venom 2, but nothing's been officially announced yet, so don't put a lot of faith in that one. But you do know what is coming out at the very end of 2020. It's The Eternals.
Ooh, Marvel's Eternals were correct, right?
Yes, Marvel's Eternals, starring Kumail Nanjiani, Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, Gemma Chan, Richard Madden. Like, it's Brian Tyree Henry. So this is going to be really interesting, especially because, like, the Eternals are such a big, sort of lofty, weighty mythos.
Yes, it's one of Jack Kirby's one of his great ideas, but he never really kind of finished, so it's a little bit hard. And no one's been touching it. It's kind of the same thing with Miracleman. Even though Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore helped create Miracleman, and Neil Gaiman writes it, like he writes it slowly, but he still hasn't finished it. So people are like, I don't want to touch this book because Neil's on it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like currently, there's been divisives in the Marvel community about Eternals. I believe the comic, there's a new writer going to take over it. I haven't looked into it so far, but it seems like they're going to change one of the characters, the male leads, into he's a gay man now, or because it's space. And some people are feeling conflicted by it. Some people don't, because in the original comics, he's always had a kinship to his fellow man. He's very empathetic. So him being gay doesn't bother me. At the same time, Jack Kirby never finished this product, so we don't know what it's one of those things like, can I finish Jack Kirby's book even though he's Jack Kirby? And Marvel's like, dude, this book's Jack Kirby's been dead for like 40 plus years. We got to finish this book somehow.
Yep. I just like it's like gays in space. I love it. More gays in space. More gays in everything, guys. If you can put gays in it, put gays in it.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, it's called like a riff only, and not because the character is gay or whatever. It's like it's riff because it's like Jack Kirby's legacy is like, well, Jack Kirby never finished this book, so we had no idea what it was going to be. And the other arguments, well, we have to finish this book because it's been over 30 plus years. It's a property that we never really use.
Yeah, nope. I mean, we're gonna see, aren't we? So that is exciting. We'll see what that ends up looking like. So far we have no footage. We have that one photo of them all dressed as the Eternals.
Yes.
Which, well, whatever, they all look good. Poor Kumail Nanjiani's like, I have abs, but it's exhausting. And I'm like, yeah, that's rough, buddy. Like, yeah, it's a lot, but yes. So, I think I think we've covered just about everything.
One thing we didn't cover, the most important news of all time. Where's that Lucifer season 5? Where? No, I'm messing.
I mean, hey, they are in talks, apparently.
I have a sudden urge that I'm like the only guy, or like, was it, J. Jonah Jameson, give me pictures of Spider-Man, give me Lucifer season 5, sew it out there, give it to me.
Yep. Well, it looks like Netflix is in talks for it, so, don't get your hopes up, because life is a disappointment, but...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Yeah, life sucks. But... Dun, da, da, dun, it could be really, really good that you could get another season. And if it doesn't happen, well, you know what? You tried. You did your best. We tried,
yeah.
We all tried. We all did our best.
Yeah.
So, I think that takes us to recommendaciones, don't you think?
Oh, yes, definitely. And one thing I recommend is another... Well, as I've been talking about a lot of family lately, I recommend this family horror book, Redneck by Donny Cates and Lisandro Estreen. Sorry if I butcher your name. It's a book about Southern vampires who live a very long time, and their lives start changed randomly. And they talk about how some people became vampires, their family extensions, them meeting other clans. Bad stuff happened. Some people get married. And by the way, these particular vampires, the first family you meet, don't eat human blood. They live off cow blood.
That's sweet, sweet cow blood.
Yep. So it's them trying to survive in a modern world with being vampires. It's one of Donny Cates' great works. And Donny Cates does currently work at Marvel. He does a lot of books there. But Donny Cates, I mean, some people love him for his Venom. And I personally am. He's the guy I think who should be writing Mobius and the Vampire because Redneck's really good.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, I am going to recommend, since we talked about Neil Gaiman, because he's gaming. I know. I'm actually going to recommend, not Miracle Man, though that's great too in its own way. I'm going to recommend the comicization, graphic novelization of his book American Gods. It is, yes, still everything you love from American Gods, the book, but with great illustrations by P. Craig Russell and also Scott Hampton. And it is super duper, all the volumes are super duper thick because, again, you have to turn a novel into pictures. And honestly, the art is super cool. If you're wondering, like, oh, did they do like that scene? They did do that scene.
Ooh.
All the that scenes that are in that book. Because, yes, I know, it's, some of the scenes in the book, if you haven't read them, they are a little bit...
Spicy.
Yes, they're very racy. There's definitely, they do absolutely do the one where someone gets swallowed whole through an appendage that you wouldn't think swallows people whole.
Oh.
Yeah. Fun! So that one's cool. So yes, it's definitely worth picking up. The art is gorgeous. It still covers the same story. I really like American Gods. I think it's a great property. I think that there's a lot you can do with it, and I think, just in general, like the stuff that Gaiman's done with it has been really awesome. So if you are looking to read the book, but you're not really like a book person and you really do like graphic novels and comics better, because everybody's different, and all of these ways are valid and awesome. Definitely pick it up. It's a fun read. It's colorful. It's dark as hell. And it's everything you want from a Neil Gaiman story.
Yeah. I guess the one thing I want to ask about it, since you're an American Gods fan, is this is a very compact, complete story. Because you mentioned you want more of it done, and it's not to insult Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman has this very finite way of ending stories. Even with Sandman, I could tell people, like, Sandman's kind of complete.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
So is American Gods like that way? Like, it's a good, complete story?
It's very much a very complete story. I really, really think that, like, you read it and you feel satisfied, but because he builds a universe that's so complex, it leaves room for more, but maybe not for more with the main characters of American Gods.
Right, similar to like Sandman, or we got Lucifer and Constantine and Swamp Thing from it.
Yes, so
yeah,
it's very much like that. It's definitely that kind of a property. And also, like, if you ever read any, like, Neil Gaiman short stories, like, occasionally, like, more stories from that universe pop up. There's also, like, Anansi Boys, which is, like, an additional story or additional novel as part of that universe. I think he likes it, too. I'm just saying, it's fun.
Oh, no. This is not knocking Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is I consider one of the great writers of our generation in general, because how he world builds and how, in general, some people do not do is complete a story. There's always he completes a story. That's why I'm still waiting to this day he'll complete Miracle Men, and he worked with Alan Moore in Miracle Men, and Alan Moore doesn't hate him, which that's always a good habit. If Alan Moore doesn't hate you, I guess you're a good guy.
If Alan Moore doesn't hate you, then you've hit, like, a threshold bar. It's so fucking high that, like, you're basically a pole vaulter. Like, that's how high you are.
I'm picturing that. It's like, Alan Moore, I don't hate you. Neil Gaiman, I am God now.
For all intents and purposes, yes, that's basically correct. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Anyway, guys, thanks again for listening to our amazing podcast and rambling. Be sure to follow us on social media. Please share this podcast with your friends and family who are also interested in movies, TV, and comics. And always, guys, watch TV, read comics. This is me and Sarah vibing off.
Later, Gators.
Pew, pew, pew.